Have you ever wondered how the continent we know as Europe came to be? Let's journey back in time to the era when our planet was a jigsaw puzzle of continents, all huddled together in a supercontinent known as Pangaea. Europe, as we know it today, was merely a part of this supercontinent. But as the tectonic plates beneath the Earth's crust began to shift, Pangaea slowly started to break apart, paving the way for the formation of separate continents, including Europe. The tectonic shifts didn't just stop at breaking the continents apart. They also led to the creation of some of the most iconic geographical features of Europe. Consider the majestic Alps, a mountain range that stretches across 8 countries. These towering peaks are the result of a colossal collision between the African and Eurasian tectonic plates. The pressure from this collision caused the Earth's crust to buckle and rise, creating the Alps. Similarly, the Ural Mountains, defining Europe's eastern boundary, also owe their existence to the dance of the tectonic plates. They were formed when the Siberian and Kazakhstani tectonic plates collided, with the Earth buckling under the immense pressure, giving birth to this mountain range. Now let's shift our focus to the Ice Age, a period that left an indelible mark on Europe's climate and topography. During this time, much of Europe was covered in massive ice sheets. As these sheets retreated, they carved out valleys, lakes, and fjords, sculpting the landscape we see today. The Ice Age also played a crucial role in shaping Europe's climate. The melting of the vast ice sheets led to the formation of the Gulf Stream, a warm ocean current that gives Europe its relatively mild climate. In a nutshell, the Europe we see today is the result of millions of years of geological transformations. It's a testament to the power of nature and the ceaseless movement of tectonic plates. So the stage was set, geologically speaking, but who were the first actors to step onto it? The first Europeans weren't actually humans. They were Neanderthals. These ancient beings who roamed the wild landscapes of Europe long before we did are an integral part of our collective past. Neanderthals, sturdy and well adapted to the harsh climates, first set foot in Europe around 400,000 years ago. They were skilled hunters, adept at using tools, and they even had a sense of culture and community. In the chilly expanses of Ice Age Europe, they found a home, a place where they could thrive. But as resilient as the Neanderthals were, they weren't alone in their journey. Around 40,000 years ago, a new species arrived on the scene. Homo sapiens, or as we're more commonly known, modern humans. With their arrival, the fate of the Neanderthals was sealed. The Homo sapiens, our direct ancestors, were more advanced, more adaptable. They outcompeted the Neanderthals for resources, and gradually, over thousands of years, the Neanderthals began to disappear. By around 30,000 years ago, they were gone, leaving behind only traces of their existence. But what a treasure trove those traces are! From the bones and tools left in ancient dwelling sites to the stunning cave paintings found across the continent, these remnants of the Neanderthals offer a fascinating glimpse into early human life in Europe. The intricate details of these artifacts, whether it's the precise craftsmanship of a stone tool or the vivid colors of a cave painting, tell us that these early Europeans were far more sophisticated than we might imagine. And so the stage was set for the next chapter in the story of Europe. The Neanderthals, Europe's first inhabitants, had faded into the annals of prehistory. But as one chapter ended, another began. The first civilizations to make their mark on Europe were the Minoans and the Mycenaeans. The Minoans, hailing from the island of Crete, were the first to flourish in the Bronze Age, around 2600 BC. They were known for their sprawling palaces, intricate art, and extensive trade networks across the Mediterranean. Then came the Mycenaeans, taking the baton from the Minoans around 1600 BC. Their civilization spanned the Greek mainland and parts of modern-day Turkey. They left behind grand tombs, golden treasures, and tales of heroic exploits that would inspire generations of poets and historians. Theirs was a civilization of warriors, traders, and builders, a civilization that laid the foundation for the classical Greek era that would follow. Now that we've set foot on the ancient grounds of Europe, let's journey further into its historical timeline. Fast forward a few millennia to the birth of Western civilization. Ancient Greece emerges on the stage, a dazzling beacon in a world still finding its feet. This was a civilization where thinkers pondered life's profound questions and artists envisioned beauty in new and breathtaking forms. It was in Greece, between the peaks of Mount Olympus and the shores of the Aegean Sea, that a revolution of ideas began. The Greeks are often hailed as the fathers of Western art, philosophy, and politics. From the grandeur of the Parthenon to the words of Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle, their legacy is deeply etched in the annals of human progress. They gave us democracy, a system of governance that places power in the hands of the people. They presented us with theatre, an art form that continues to mirror society and provoke thought. They introduced us to scientific and mathematical principles that form the backbone of modern knowledge. But Greece was not alone in shaping the Europe we know today. Enter the Romans, a civilization that would conquer, influence, and leave an indelible mark on the continent. At its zenith, the Roman Empire stretched from the sun-baked sands of North Africa to the cold northern reaches of Britain. Its influence was felt in every corner of its vast expanse. Julius Caesar, with his military genius and political acumen, drastically reformed the Roman Republic, paving the way for the rise of the Roman Empire. His assassination marked a turning point, leading to a period of civil wars and the eventual rise of his adopted heir, Octavian, later known as Augustus, the first Roman emperor. Constantine the Great, on the other hand, is remembered for his religious reforms. He issued the Edict of Milan in 313 AD, granting religious tolerance throughout the empire. He also convened the First Council of Nicaea, which laid the groundwork for the Nicene Creed, a statement of Christian faith that is still used in Christian liturgy today. Roman law laid the groundwork for modern legal systems, while Latin, its mother tongue, would give birth to the Romance languages of French, Italian, Spanish, Portuguese, and Romanian. The Romans were master builders, leaving behind a landscape peppered with aqueducts, roads, and amphitheaters, not to mention the concept of citizenship, which they broadened and redefined, extending rights and privileges to people far beyond the city of Rome. The fall of Rome marked the end of an era, but Europe was far from finished. The legacy of Greece and Rome continues to reverberate through Europe, echoing in its languages, its governments, its culture. They are the cradle from which Western civilization sprung, the roots that reach deep into the soil of European history. And as we'll see, the story of Europe is far from over. The Middle Ages were a time of turmoil, but also of tremendous change. Under the banner of the feudal system, Europe's social structure was redrawn. Lords and vassals, bound by oaths of loyalty, controlled the land and its resources, shaping the lives of the serfs who worked it. This system, born out of necessity, was a response to the chaos that had followed the fall of the Roman Empire. Yet it wasn't just the land that was changing hands. Religion too was sweeping across the continent. Christianity, previously persecuted, rose to become the dominant faith, its influence seeping into every corner of society. Monasteries and churches sprouted up like mushrooms after a rain, becoming centers of learning, charity, and power. But Christianity wasn't the only religion making waves. From the south and the east, Islam spread rapidly, carried by the winds of conquest and trade. It brought with it new ideas, new technologies, and new tensions. The interplay between these two faiths would come to a head in the Crusades, a series of holy wars that left an indelible mark on East-West relations. The Crusades were a time of great violence, but also of cultural exchange. Ideas, goods, and people flowed between the Christian and Muslim worlds, leaving both forever changed. Yet the scars of these conflicts would linger, shaping perceptions and prejudices for centuries to come. And then, as if the Middle Ages weren't tumultuous enough, the Black Death arrived. This deadly plague swept through Europe like a wildfire, claiming between a third and a half of the population. It was a time of great suffering and fear, but also of profound social and economic change. Dark though these times were, they were also the crucible in which modern Europe was forged. The Middle Ages, for all their turmoil, were a pivotal chapter in Europe's story, shaping the continent we know today. The last few centuries have seen Europe transformed again and again. The continent, like a canvas, has been painted over with new ideas, philosophies, and technologies, each stroke adding a unique layer to the rich tapestry of its history. Beginning with the Renaissance, a period of cultural rebirth, that swept across Europe in the 14th to 16th centuries, the continent was stirred from the slumber of the Middle Ages. This was a time when art, science, and humanism flourished, with luminaries like Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo leaving indelible marks on the world. Leonardo da Vinci was a man of unquenchable curiosity and feverishly inventive imagination. A true genius, his interests ranged from painting, sculpture, architecture, science, music, mathematics, engineering, literature, anatomy, geology, astronomy, botany, and even writing. His contributions to art, such as the Mona Lisa and the Last Supper, are among the most famous works in the world. Yet Da Vinci was also an inventor, sketching out ideas for flying machines and undersea boats centuries before they became a reality. Then there was Galileo Galilei, the man who dared to look up and question the heavens. In the early 17th century, Galileo turned his telescope towards the sky and forever changed our understanding of the universe. He discovered celestial bodies like Jupiter's moons and contributed significantly to the field of physics. Galileo's unwavering pursuit of truth, even in the face of persecution, embodies the spirit of the Enlightenment. Finally, we come to Sir Isaac Newton, one of the fathers of the European Enlightenment. Newton's laws of motion and universal gravitation laid much of the groundwork for modern physics. His work in optics and mathematics has also had a profound impact on various scientific fields. Newton's genius helped shape our understanding of the world and the universe beyond. Following the Renaissance, the Age of Enlightenment dawned, a period of intellectual and philosophical development that spanned the 17th and 18th centuries. Sir Isaac Newton and John Locke were the true fathers of the Enlightenment. Europe was ablaze with the ideals of reason, liberty, and the scientific method. Thinkers such as Voltaire, Rousseau, and Kant questioned the status quo, sparking revolutions and laying the groundwork for modern democracy. These men, like many of their contemporaries, were not just artists or scientists, but polymaths. They embodied the spirit of the Renaissance and Enlightenment, an era when the lines between art and science blurred, and the pursuit of knowledge was a noble endeavor. This era of enlightenment and discovery paved the way for the modern era, the age of revolutions. It's the late 18th century and a storm is brewing in France. The people are disgruntled, the monarchy oblivious. The stage is set for one of history's most dramatic overhauls, the French Revolution. A society stratified by birthrights is upended, and the monarchy is toppled. The guillotine becomes a symbol of fear and justice, and the famous cry of liberty, equality, fraternity echoes through the streets of Paris. The French Revolution, a 10-year-long struggle, not only changes the face of France, but also sends shockwaves through the aristocracies of Europe. But while the French Revolution is shaking the political landscape, another revolution is silently transforming the economic fabric of the continent. We're now in the heart of England, in the midst of the Industrial Revolution. In the span of 100 years, from the mid-18th to mid-19th century, Europe shifts dramatically from a predominantly agrarian society to an industrial powerhouse. Steam engines roar, factories mushroom, and cities expand at an unprecedented rate. The Industrial Revolution redefines work, lifestyle, and even the concept of time. These revolutions reshaped Europe, leading to the world wars of the 20th century. Imagine a time of global conflict and change. That was the era of the World Wars. Two colossal clashes that shook the world and forever changed the face of Europe. The first of these, World War I, began in the summer of 1914, sparked by the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria. A complex web of alliances quickly drew most of Europe into the fray. For 4 long years, the continent was embroiled in brutal trench warfare, with millions losing their lives. The war ended with the Treaty of Versailles in 1919, imposing heavy penalties on Germany, which sowed the seeds for another conflict. Just 2 decades later, in 1939, World War II erupted. This time, it was the aggressive expansionist policies of Adolf Hitler's Nazi Germany that ignited the flame. It was a war of unprecedented scale and devastation, spreading across Europe and beyond. Notable events included the Battle of Britain, the Siege of Leningrad, and the Normandy invasion, also known as D-Day. This war saw the Holocaust, a genocide where 6 million Jews were systematically murdered by the Nazis. World War II ended in 1945 with the unconditional surrender of Germany. However, the scars of the war ran deep. Cities lay in ruins, economies were shattered, and countless lives were lost or irrevocably changed. The world wars were a time of unimaginable turbulence and transformation. They brought immense suffering, but also paved the way for a united Europe, fostering a commitment to peace and cooperation. In the aftermath of the Second World War, the idea of a united Europe was born. This concept was not merely a political or economic alliance, but an ambitious project to prevent another devastating conflict on the continent. The first step towards this ideal was the creation of the European Coal and Steel Community in 1951, with 6 founding members: Belgium, Germany, France, Italy, Luxembourg, and the Netherlands. This alliance laid the groundwork for the European Economic Community in 1957 with the signing of the Treaty of Rome. The goal was simple yet profound: to create a common market that would bind these nations together economically, making war between them not only unthinkable, but materially impossible. This unity, however, has not been without its challenges. Economic crises, debates over sovereignty, and the historic Brexit vote of the United Kingdom in 2016 have tested the strength and resilience of the Union. Yet despite these tumultuous events, the EU continues to stand as a beacon of cooperation and unity. The European Union is more than a political and economic alliance. It is a testament to Europe's capacity for transformation and unity. It symbolizes the continent's shared dedication to peace, prosperity, and the common good. We've journeyed through thousands of years of Europe's history, from its mythological origins to the modern European Union. We've delved into the depths of the Roman era, witnessing the rise and fall of a great empire that still impacts our world. We've navigated the tumultuous waters of the Dark Ages and medieval times, where kingdoms rose and fell and society evolved. We've admired the Renaissance and Enlightenment, periods of great intellectual and artistic advancements. We've stood on the precipice of change during the Age of Revolutions, witnessing the birth of modern political ideologies. We've endured the harrowing world wars, testament to humanity's capacity for both destruction and unity. Finally, we've seen the formation and development of the modern European Union, a symbol of cooperation and unity in a continent so often divided by conflict. Europe's history is a testament to its resilience and adaptability. It's a story that continues to unfold, shaping the world we live in today.